Hey everybody, Happy New Year! Now that Christmas is over and the New Year is coming up, I thought it would be fun to do a Happy New Year card. So I'm going to be using a really great alphabet. This is by Mama Elephant and it has coordinating dies. It's called the inline letters, and the dies and the stamps match, but they are dead on in size. There's not a white border, so there's kind of a trick to working with these. So I've already die cut the letters from some solar white cardstock, and I'm just going to toss them into a bowl there so I don't lose them on my work surface, because you know how that goes when you're in a creative frenzy and you start flinging stuff around. Then it gets lost and thrown away, and then you're like, oh no, where'd it go? And then I'm going to put a piece of Post-it tape there on the edge of my dish, and you'll see why. I'm using that as a tool. So I'm going to ink up my stamp. This is the trick I was talking about. You want to ink up your stamps and put them with the block down and the inked rubber up, and then take your die cut pieces. And we're working in a reverse order, and we're just going to press that die cut right onto the stamp. And then take a piece of scratch paper, just like what we do with big background stamps. I'm using pretty much the same technique just to make sure I've got even pressure and that die cut has ink all over it. And then I'll use that little bit of Post-it tape to kind of grab it. It's my grabbing tool. So there you can see I've got perfect alignment. Now I tried actually taking the die cut letters and stamping down onto them, but you know, it is such a tight fit because there is no margin on these. There's no border that goes around the edges. A lot of times when you have stamps and dies that coordinate, there's a slight margin there that goes around the outer edges, but these are like zero clearance. So this is the way we found to get the best impressions with these particular dies and stamps together. And it's actually pretty easy once you know this trick. So I was really glad that this worked. Now we're going to take a Happy Holiday stamp by Savvy, and I just wanted the word happy and I wanted it in a typewritten font. So I'm going to ink it up with Hero Arts Unicorn White and stamp it onto some black cardstock. Heat set it really quickly with my heat tool, and then we'll go ahead and trim it out. And this is going to give me kind of that Dymo label effect. This is kind of a fun effect, and you can cheat by using a white ink and black cardstock. And I wanted to 3D mount it later on, so I'm going to go ahead and add some foam dots to it. And I'm also going to add some foam dots to the back of my die cut letters. And this took a little bit of time because I needed to cut those foam dots in half. A smarter thing to do in hindsight would have been to take some glue dots and just ball them up and stick them on the back. But glutton for punishment that I am, I sat there and kept working with the little foam dots and cutting them down. So take my advice, use the glue dots and ball them up. So now I'm going to take a sentiment. This is by Avery L, and it's from their Count on It. And I love the expression. I thought it would be perfect for a New Year's card, but I needed to kind of check how it would work with my layout. So I temporarily positioned those letters backwards because I'd taken the liner papers off the foam dots and I didn't want to tack them down permanently. So I was just trying to get my spacing and my layout. Now that I know where the letters are going to get mounted and I've done that, I can go ahead and mount that sentiment to an acrylic block and ink it up with some Golden Glitz. This is a Delicata Golden Glitz ink by Suki Neko, and it's my favorite gold ink. I absolutely love it, and it is stunning when it is not embossed. So I like it naked. So we'll go ahead and stamp that into place, and then we'll mount the faux Dymo label that I made on the black cardstock, and that's got the foam dots there. So we'll get that mounted into place, and it's looking kind of plain, but we're going to jazz it up here in a second. I've got a piece of clear acetate that's been cut to the same dimensions as that white panel, which is 4 inches by 5¼ inches. And then a little bit of that Post-it tape is going to help hold that together temporarily for me while I line up the pieces and add some washi tape. Now I'm using a gold washi tape that I already had on a roll, but the gold pattern of Lifestyle Crafts Shape and Tape would be perfect for this. Plus you have the option of all those patterns that come in the package, and you can cut those strips to exactly the dimensions or the paper, the washi sheets to exactly to the dimensions that you need. So I'm just using this because it's what I had and it was gold and I needed some gold for this. So I'm just going to seal up the bottom edge there, and then I'm going to go around to each of the other sides, and I'm going to get the sides all sealed up the same way that I did the bottom edge. So this is creating a pocket that I'm going to put some filler material into. So we'll go ahead and trim that flush and then go ahead and smooth those sides down very carefully. So I don't want any overhanging edges at this point. I just want to get that all flush, trim flush, and then fold it over. And then I'll get the other side done. And once we're done, we have a nice little pocket, and I left the top edge open. It's important to leave one edge open because this is where you're going to put the filler in. It's kind of like stuffing a pillow. So I'm going to take some of these fun sequins by Lawn Fawn. I love the colors in this package. This is the Into the Woods collection of the Lawn Fawn sequins. And then I'm also going to use the Magical Stars by Studio Calico because I wanted to have, you know, this theme of celebrating the new year. And then I also have some satin gold sequins that I've tossed in there. And now it's time to seal the pocket. So I'm just going to apply more washi tape there to the open edge at the top and go ahead and trim it flush. Oops, it's better sometimes when you flip it over and work from the back side. So we get that done, and once we have that trimmed off, we can go ahead and fold that over and seal up the pocket. Now, if you want to, even though you've sealed it, because washi tape is removable, you could take it back up, you know, open it back up and add more sequins. And in hindsight, I kind of wished I had, but I was so anxious to see how the card would look when it was all finished, so I just went ahead and mounted it. So once it was on there, I didn't want to mess with it. So, but I wish I'd added more sequins. Now, this is not a traditional shaker card, but it's a really fun variation. And some of the sequins, you know, when I was shaking it around, kind of got stuck up there where it was really tight. But this is one of those cards where you're going more for the look and aesthetic than you are actual shaker motion. Anyway, I think it's a great idea for a New Year's card, and I hope you have a fantastic New Year. Thanks for watching.